nobody's coming to save you. So you gotta, your marketing, promotion, like that's really the soul of your business. Just like
Hey, what's going down? I want to stop things really, really quick and let you know I've been thinking about you. So at the beginning of the year, I always get calls from different coaches and business owners that want to really maximize their online brand and turn their followers into paying clients, but they just don't understand how. So I went back and I studied the industry, and I noticed a lot of different coaches are offering different online programs that ultimately are leaving business owners stuck after the program because the business owner still doesn't truly understand what they need to do in order to build their online brand presence. So what I did was I created a 10-week learning plan. Now this 10-week learning plan is specific for your business where we work together one-on-one and I'll walk you through how you're able to turn your content into leads and sales, bringing your customers down a full journey. Now this learning plan is going to walk you through everything you need to know. So it's no more jumping from YouTube video to YouTube video trying to figure all this stuff out yourself. Now if you want to learn more about this learning plan, go ahead and click the link below and I'll talk to you soon. Hey, what's going down? Welcome to another episode of the Connections Hub podcast, where we connect you to everything business related. Now, I'm super excited for this episode because I got Cole the barber here with us. Now, I'm not going to steal from his thunder, so I'm going to let him introduce himself and what it is that he do. So take it over, Cole.
Hey man, this is Cole the barber. I'm a 6-figure barber here in Houston, Texas. I create ebooks, classes, and I'm pretty much motivate and inspire barbers. Achieved a lot as far as clientele-wise, real great with clientele retention and using my story to motivate and inspire others. Yeah.
I'm super excited because I was going down your page and I mean he's amazing at creating content. I know content is my thing, so I seen this content. I'm like, whoa, it's amazing. And I just want to ask, so how long have you been in the industry?
10 years.
Whoa, 10 years. What got you in for 10 years?
I've always wanted to be my own boss, for the most part. And I like art, right? And I also have a passion for motivating and inspiring people. Barbering put both of those together. So that got me. So I get to do that every day. The art, then I'm in people's head, figuratively and literally. Right.
Yeah, that's what's up.
So
that's fire. That's a bar. I never thought about it like that. That's fire. Usually, when you hear about the barbershop, you relate it to just the conversations that you can't have anywhere else. So when you relate it to actually being in their head, literatively and figuratively, that's powerful. That's powerful. So what would you say? I'm scrolling your page and I'm just going, and I notice you have 1,100 or more satisfied clients.
Mm-hmm.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, that came from that's just an overflow of clients. So over a long period of time, you bring value to clients, and they recognize that. So what they do is they stick with you because it's they can tell when it's just about whatever service that you're giving and when it's about passion and true care and love and interest for people. And when you practice that and you get good at it, actually being interested in people, it's hard for someone to stop using your services or coming to you because it ain't about the services no more. Now it's about them coming to see you. I have people they come jumping in the chair and they be like, man, I couldn't wait to see you. See, they ain't say I couldn't wait to get a haircut right. Or I can't wait to see you. Then they lay it on me. It's almost free therapy sessions, right? You feel me? But that's what it is. So that keeps people, right? And they constantly come and watch little kids grow up, and I give them game with life. Even guys older than me or anything, like when you bring value to people, your clientele is going to be through the roof. it's gonna be uncontrollable.
No facts. And you touched on something really powerful, which is that value aspect and really being able to bring value to people. So what would you say for people in the barber industry, or even just entrepreneurs and people in general, when it comes to satisfying clients? How can you bring that value to your clients?
What you do is it's gotta be a conscious effort, for one. Right? And you gotta be able to use something that you have. Me, I use my life story to bring value to clients. I use my life story. Like, I done been through divorce, prison. I got deceased kids. Man, if you name my mom on drugs, daddy went in my life, like the whole nine.
Yeah,
right.
That's powerful.
And all of those things, when I was going through them, they caused me a lot of pain. Asking why. But then when I added it to my profession, now I was able to use all of those things to bring value to all of these people, because I can touch on many and multiple different subjects and aspects of life, because that's where people need the most help. A hairstyle or whatever, that's not the real help people come for. You don't know what they're going through in their life. And what you do is you ask them questions, you see what's going on with them, and then you try to help them with those situations as much as possible. That's value. That's a lot of value.
Facts. And I can just imagine somebody running, man, I couldn't wait to see you, and they just sitting there just telling you everything. You probably like the bartender, when they just come and they just sit there and their whole life story. Like, that's amazing. And man, 1,100 clients. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I wanted to also just scrolling through your content, and this dude is like, you got a membership program, you got ebooks, you're on the camera teaching barbers how to really make this thing work. When did that switch happen from you? Because I know a lot of people, when they get into the industry, they might think, oh, I'm just a barber, I might get a booth, I just cutting hair kind of thing. So when did that switch happen? Or when do you really realize, like, this can be something bigger?
I've seen the value that I was giving people, and the cuts wasn't everything, right? If you notice, you'll see that I don't teach how to cut hair a lot.
You don't.
I teach more of the, like shop ethics and, the financial part and all these different things.
I seen policies was big on your stuff too.
Exactly.
You kept going back to that.
Yeah.
The policies.
Exactly. And those things, when you look at it, it's like, I looked at it one day, I'm like, look, the value I bring and the things that I do can be, for one, it could be like profitable, of course, but I'm more than just a barber, because people downplay barbers a lot.
What you mean?
They go, "Oh, you're a barber." I even had people say, "You need to get a real job." Right? I make 6 figures doing what I do. Real job where, right? But they like, you need to get a real job. And if most people, they tell their partners, their spouses or whatever, hey, I'm in the hair industry, I'm a makeup artist, et cetera, whatever. But it's the same way with barbers. They downplay it. They act like it's some side hustle or whatnot. And I didn't want to just be a barber. So I started to add things to my services and everything, and to my brand, ultimately, to grow it and put out more value than just a barber. You see what I'm saying? So when I seen that, I'm like, look, I'm building a brand. If you look at my brand, you know how Nike says, just do it. Mine says, Cole Cutz, own you. See, the own you part is what my brand stands on. I just can't be a barber that cuts your hair and send you on about your way and make my little money and that's it. This brand stands for own you. I gotta find other ways to bring value and also, stretch the brand. Classes, ebooks, and all that, and also, utilizing social media with that following that you built up.
No, for sure. And it's funny because I've never seen anybody in your industry do it the way you do it. Like, I was just going through studying you, like, okay, let me get ready for the interview I got with Cole. And I'm looking, and I'm like, this dude got a membership program. He got ebooks. I've never seen anyone build a barber build a brand in the way that you've done it. So not really kudos to you, bro. You are doing the thing. You are doing the thing. So when it comes to a barber or anybody in the cosmetology industry, whether it's an esthetician or whatever they might be doing in owning a salon and really getting into that environment, how do you get into that environment, or what are some things you should start to look for when it's time to get into that environment?
Man, when it's time off gate, you gotta get your LLC.
Okay.
Right, and that's to separate you from your business. Because you have a lot of that going on in that any type of service industry where people complain, they can go to different people, they can sue you. You want them to sue your business, you don't want them to sue you, right? That's protecting your personal assets or whatnot. That's like number one. And when you get into the business, you gotta understand that nobody's coming to save you. So you gotta your marketing, promotion, like that's really the soul of your business. Just like every business have to have sales. A sales department is the most important part of every business. You do that for yourself. Once you go out and branch out on your own and open your own, you got to be willing to turn up with the marketing, promotion, and what your brand or your business stands on. Because that's important, because you can be very slouchy, especially being black owned. You can be, it's just, the stigma on black businesses. You gotta make a conscious effort that you want to be structured in a certain type of way, depending on the type of people you're trying to serve.
No, for sure.
That's important.
Sure. And I like how you stood on that with the people that you're trying to serve, because I seen another one of your videos where you were talking about how the things that people should look for when it's like people pulling up on you to pay you extra just to kind of get around your policies, or all the different things that clients that might come in and do or say about somebody that they might have worked with to train you on how they want you to treat you. So I was just studying that. So how can someone in this industry really stand on their policies, procedure, and build the brand to where it's recognized as bigger than just a service?
Well, you gotta make sure that you just firm on the things you believe in. And those policies, the whole structure of your business comes from the type of people you're trying to serve. It always goes back to that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to tell you your times a day you need to do these services, right? It's going to tell you the certain hours or price point, right? All of that is going to tell you. And then once you have that preset, now you stick to it and you stand firm on it. That way your business can grow from that foundation, and anything that's not with your program, it'll automatically weed out over time. And it's to the point where it's not even attractive to people that you're not trying to serve. But you got to stand firm on that structure, and you have to push that with your brand. You can't be a barber and you're trying to build business and be professional, but you're smoking weed on your page, right? And it may not ain't much wrong with smoking, but that don't go with what you're trying to grow, right? And when it's like that, you're straddling the fence. So you got to make sure you stand on that foundation and be firm. So anybody that even sees your brand, right, or even interested in your services, they can already know, like, hey, he don't play about being on time. He don't play up at his no-shows or such and such. Like, you got to stand firm on it.
No, definitely. And it's funny you say that, because I think a lot of times, going back to building a brand and in this industry, those little things that you stand on is ultimately what sets you apart and makes what you're doing the brand, or makes what you're doing something that somebody wants to be a part of, where it's bigger than just a service. Like, I want to be a part of this brand. I want to be represented as Cole cut my hair, standing on that. So that's really good. And another thing that you touched on, again, going back to content. Y'all notice I keep going back to his content. He was like one of the easiest person to do research on, because he has so much content. He has so much content about what it is that he do that it makes it easy for me to just go in on your profession. So it makes you stand out. But something that you talked about on your page was getting out of just being behind the chair. I think a lot of times people in the industry of service, or even barbers, again, cosmetology, whatever industry, they get stuck being behind the chair or being the person that's doing the service. How have you been able to maneuver from being behind the chair and kind of get away from that 1,100 loyal client base you have?
Yeah, and I don't necessarily want to get away from them.
Okay.
I try to find a way to still have my freedom and just leverage my time, right?
What you mean?
You got to make sure you got to count your money, for one. So you got to make sure that you're servicing a certain amount of people. You got to actually sit down and make the plan. Like, it was a time where I was like tied behind a chair. Like, I couldn't do nothing. I missed my kids' birthday parties. When I was in a relationship, I was late on every day. All my reservations, I was late. Like, stuff like that, what it does is it just throws you all the way off. And then you go, dang, I got to get from behind this chair.
Right.
So what you do is you look at your money that you're making. Then you look at your free time, right, that you already have. And you got to leverage it. And you got to make sure that you're making enough money to be able to take care of the things you taking care of, save, invest, or whatever, and your price point. See,
so like, do I get a bookkeeper? Let's just see, getting kind of in depth.
You got to do it. I do it myself.
Okay.
Right? But, I mean, you could get a bookkeeper, but I do it myself.
So how do you do it? Like, walk us through it a little bit.
Okay, so I go through my schedule, and I just look at how many people I'm going to serve a day.
Okay.
My goal is to make 6 figures, right? And that's just for me. So if I'm going to make 6 figures, I need to charge this amount for a cut, and I need to cut this many people per day.
Right.
And this is what I looked at. And then I'm like, if these hours are too long, or I'm cutting too many people, I see myself behind a chair too much with these hours that I created. I'm about to shift it around, whether that's the price point or the days I work or whatever. I'm about to shift it around so I can get from behind this chair. But ultimately, you want to have other things going on, like investments, like crypto, stock, right? And with me, I also use my intellectual property, the ebooks, right? And the courses in the membership I have, the mentor membership. All these things, they'll get you from behind the chair because you're still using your value to service other people. But what you're doing is you getting yourself from behind the chair because there's other things. Like, if you're just cutting hair or whatever service you do, if you just doing that, you losing. Because at the end of the day, when that stops, because you're using your body.
Yeah.
You're using it. When that stops, I mean, then the money stop coming in.
Kind of like an athlete, like when they get injured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I done had injuries from cutting a lot, right? And it's like, luckily I handle my business.
Right.
And got other things going on. So you got to constantly educate yourself and steady add things on the side. Can't just treat it. Your service can't be your only income. It just can't.
No, and it makes sense, of course, having multiple streams of income. They say, I think having one stream of income is too close to having no streams of income.
Yes.
I see that a lot. So yes. I definitely get it. So is there a certain point or a certain bracket of when I'm making this much, I should start looking at investments? Like, when does that thought process come in?
I think you should start as soon as possible, because you can start investing so small. You can buy fractional shares of certain stock. Crypto is like dirt cheap. You don't have to buy a whole thing, you buy fractions, right? But when you start to make money, where most barbers or stylists or whatever, we rent the spaces we service out of.
Right.
Once you're able to pay that, and you're able to, pay your home expenses, and you have extra money, and you notice that you have a consistent flow of income, like your schedule is booked most of the time, and you kind of making the same amount every week, you can count your dollars, and you can count what you make a day, a week, a month, a year.
Right.
And then you tell yourself, if this is what I make a year, you can already kind of clock your expenses. That's too easy. you know what you got left. So then you take that, and then now you know how much you can invest with, right? Because it's a certain percentage of your income, like they say 10% of your income, you must invest. That's like automatic, right? But most people lack a basic financial plan. In that basic financial plan, if you have that, you can start it as soon as you start servicing. Like you can start that as soon as you start your service, as soon as you start being a barber, a stylist, whatever. As soon as you start it, if you got that basic financial plan, you can start it. It's no particular time. I wish I would have knew everything I knew now earlier.
No, for sure. And so how did you learn everything that you know now and kind of switch the shift or turn the switch?
I kind of did what it relates to the question you just asked. I had at the time I was married, and man, I was making money, and I had just got out of prison, so I had this plan in my head, and I like went so hard to achieve, a certain income.
What was the plan?
The plan was like in my bunk. I had my barber shop up there with a Mercedes parked in front of it.
In the prison bunk?
Yeah. Okay. I drew it. I drew a barber shop with a Mercedes in front of it. I taped it to the top of my bunk, and I was the officer barber in prison, so I pretty much cut all the way through. But I had a plan. That was my vision. Every morning I woke up, I looked at the top of the bunk, I seen it, right? And I got up and went to the suite inside the prison to cut the officers every day. But when I got out, I was like, that vision, I'm going to get that done.
Right.
But it also, when I first came out, it's a smaller plan because I'm not going to get to that right now. Right now, I just need to make this amount of money and then this amount and this amount. I knew I was skilled, so I got out and I went hard. So hard to the point to where I exceeded my wife's income at that time. I went over that.
Just getting out, you already making more than her?
Yeah, first I wasn't. Yeah. And then when I built it up, I started making more than her, then way more than her. Yeah. And then it's a 2-income household, so it came to the point where I seen an abundance of cash flow.
Right.
So I looked in my safe, and I had saved up like $10,000, right? And I was like, it was right at $11,000, and I was like, dang. So I grew up poor.
Right.
I was like, I'm never going back to poor, but what I'm doing now is a poor characteristic.
What you mean?
To save money in cash inside of a safe.
Oh,
I'm not selling drugs anymore.
Right.
That's a no. Exactly. I don't want to, if the house burned down, maybe the safe may protect it, but if someone come rob it, I start back over zero.
Right.
So I started to look up, I went to YouTube, I typed in what to do. I said how to invest $10,000. First thing popped up was the stock market, right? And I've always been interested in finances, but at the time I was ignorant to it, So I started from right there, and then it just built up. And then once you learn about one thing, and I went down a whole wormhole. And next thing you know, I knew so much, and I got into the stock market. I was so scared. Out of $11,000, almost $11,000, all I put in the stock market was $50. I was so scared, right? Because I didn't understand trading and investing.
Right.
I thought you're supposed to get in here and trade the money and you can lose it, but it wasn't like that. Right. It's investing. You just put it in there and don't worry about it.
Right, exactly.
And that 50 turned to $80 in a certain amount of time, and I went back and looked. I'm like, whoa. So I'm like, oh no, I got to. I go ahead and start doing the transactions piece by piece, and got it all in the account and put it up in the investment account and start buying stocks. The things that I was interested in.
Right.
And that's when it all started. And from there, it just grew. My financial literacy just grew.
No, that's what's up, and that's powerful. Y'all see that YouTube University?
Yeah,
Literally went to YouTube, typed it in, it came up, and boom, we here now. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. I know before we really wrap things up, I know a really big thing that a lot of people want to know about is when getting in this industry, or again, getting from behind the chair and taking things to the next level, what are the most common mistakes you see from people in the industry that hold them back from doing it?
People don't want to get, I guess it's pride, because people don't want to get game from others they feel like doing better than them.
That's happened in the industry?
It's happening a lot. And a lot of people are kind of standoffish, right? Or they'll see someone that's doing better than them. They want that. They want everything you have in it, but the pride, they don't want to ask for help, or they don't even want to support it. Like I told you, I bought courses, ebooks, and everything from people that I look up to, right? And I think that's what people need to do. Put that to the side. Get the education you need from the people. They got it. Or if you know the person, ask. Just ask.
Ask for the game.
Just ask for the game. It's right there.
Ask for the game. Did you create your own ebook setup, or like if somebody like again in the service industry wanted to get into that? Like how did you do that?
So I write my own ebooks.
Right.
But there's this site called Scribble, right? And Scribble gives you like ebook layouts, like it gives you the color layout, and it just lay out a book with like these scribble scratches as words, and you go in there and you add your pictures and you type what you need to type, whatever, and it kind of structures the ebook for you, so it makes it easy. All you do is fill in, you write your words and add your pictures, and it's a done deal. So yeah, and find a platform to sell them on. And then, which I use PayHip to sell mine. Yeah, and then I sell them like that, and that's residual income. It's digital assets, so there's no stock, and it just constantly, sells.
No, facts. So, before we get out of here, first of all, where can we find you online? This dude content is crazy, y'all. What's your Instagram?
It's Cole Cutz, ColeCutz. And it's on all platforms, everything. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
I see him on TikTok. I said, "That is on TikTok." Like you are everywhere. You are doing it. This was.
Appreciate it.
I'm super excited. Thank you again for stopping by and coming on. So that's gonna be it from me. Check me out on the next episode. Thank you guys for tuning in.